Hey y'all, welcome back. Queen Sugar has returned for the sixth amazing season, and I'm breaking it down. Let's get into episode one. I'll leave it to Queen Sugar to take us on such a beautiful, emotional, nostalgic, exciting, and drama filled journey. The premiere episode of season six did not disappoint as we continue the conversation in St. Joe's Parish with the Bordelon family and their extended family, the St. Joe Parish community. In this episode, we really got an update on everyone, right? We see Micah is in class. He's actually doing some type of study exchange with another school called Frankfurt. He goes to Xavier, but he's working with Frankfurt, doing virtual classes at the top of the episode, and is having a very interesting conversation around Black nationalism, Malcolm X, activism, things like that. And what is key is that the exchange that happens between him and his teacher. And I'm going to go ahead and say that this is his teacher assistant because she looks very, very young. And then later on, we find out that he's actually sleeping with her. So we're going to go ahead and say that this is the teacher assistant because we don't want to put nothing on sis, but either way, it's a little impropriety happening, but I digress. And this really tracks. We saw Micah at the last season really struggle with his breakup from Keke, really step further into his activism bag, pursue things that would help him identify himself for himself, which was very interesting to see. And I thought it was very much so a needed conversation. We saw him cross, we saw him have problems in reference to communication and stepping into his adulthood with Charley. So it was definitely a breath of fresh air to see him in this opening episode. However, to see him being involved with a member of faculty or faculty adjacent, it's like, oh Micah, you into some mess. And we get to see Charley, who is not actually in Louisiana at the moment. She's in LA and she's taking meetings with the Democratic Party. She's going for a conference, and I think that they are considering her for leadership within the party and potentially going on. She actually has a conversation with Davis, who she is sneaking around with in LA because they are still, doing this dating thing and revisiting their relationship and rekindling what they had. She's having a conversation with him about additional political ambitions and how far she wants to take this and maybe stepping into the national stage. And we saw in the trailer that they mentioned her running for senator. So we're definitely going to see more from Charley in reference to her political ambitions and activism and how she chooses to fight and fight for us in this season. In this first episode, though, we just get caught up with that. We know that she's having additional political ambitions and she is dating Davis and she's enjoying dating Davis. I am excited to see them together. It feels good that they can find their way back to each other, but I will say for a split second, y'all, it did feel like, is this too good to be true? Davis is saying all the right things. He is looking at her like he has never looked at her before. Like, it just looks so great, but just given how it all played out at the start of the series, I'm still a little apprehensive, but listen, I'm riding with it. I'm riding with it. Y'all, let me know in the comment section down below. Are you for Davis and Charley getting back together and trying this thing again? All right, and Ra is expecting a new baby. Darla is pregnant. I'm guessing we're about 4 or 6 months since the last season. I think that might be the time jump because Darla is a little bit further along, but not like completely full term just yet. And what Ra is doing, he has started a lawsuit against the USDA to try to get some financial support and help for the farmers that have been, specifically the Black farmers, who have been taken advantage of and disproportionately dismissed due to the pandemic as well as the farming conditions within St. Joe. So we see him doing that. We also get really caught up to where they are financially. There's so many hints of them struggling in this episode. So he's doing payday loans. He's got collection people calling. They're planning to default on the land in the next 30 days because he took out a loan against the land so that he can be able to bring this crop to harvest. And we also hear that he's really banking on this crop of sugarcane really getting him out the hole once he's able to bring that to harvest. So please don't let no bugs, no storms, no nothing happen because we need to bring this crop in so that they can get back on better financial standing. And what's interesting is like the disposition that we saw Ra have in last season. Like he definitely struggled around, the killing of George Floyd and the emotional toll that took. But for the most part, we saw a Ra that had a very positive disposition and was always looking up and trying to be very hopeful. And I think that he's doing the same in this episode because while he knows he has no money, he's also spending money on a new crib and he's also like speaking as if, things will turn around. He knows things will be better. So it's going to be interesting to see how this actually plays out, because it seems like he's banking a lot on faith and hope, and we don't necessarily know if that's going to pan out in a way that he hopes it will. Now, you can't bring up Rye in this episode without mentioning Vi, because they are still not talking. Hollywood is trying to get Vi to call Rye. Darla is trying to get Rye to call Vi, and it's like, bruh, y'all still fighting after months. Rye definitely did say some crazy stuff. Vi said some crazy stuff, but y'all are family, and I need y'all to get it together. In this episode, we really get to see Vi still trying to be the foundation and the stronghold for a lot of people, but she's also hiding something. I don't know who she was delivering that food to, who she's calling, sneaking behind people's backs, but that is happening all the while she is disagreeing with Nova, writing articles and pushing this whole defund the police campaign. She knows about Charley trying to get back with Davis, and she don't like that. And of course, she don't like that she feels like Rye is trying to keep Blue away from her and made this decision as a personal attack against her. So Vi is really just going through it while also still trying to keep it together. And it's very interesting to see her go throughout the episode, because she's really kind of up and down, hot and cold. I'm just glad to see her and Hollywood aren't necessarily beefing, and in the moments that they do disagree, they work through it really quickly and they move on. Because last season, watching them, I was just like, no, mom and dad, y'all cannot be out here fighting. Y'all are like what holds everybody together. I'm gonna need y'all to get it together. Like I mentioned, Nova is pushing this campaign for defunding the police and is doing a very great story about it. She actually has a source within the department, and then she's also in charge of this drive, which is one of the main places or main setups for a lot of the story that happens in this episode. So she organizes a vaccine drive, and everybody comes together to help people in St. Joe's Parish get vaccinated, and it's such a great thing to do. However, so much conflict and drama happens here, because we got Karens, we got Confederates, we got overt racists, we got police who are so concerned with protecting Blue versus protecting human lives. Like, all of these things converge at this actual vaccine drive, and we get to see all these people show up trying to get the vaccine that is designated specifically for St. Joe's Parish, which we learn is 70% black, but it's all these white people there. Then when they start actually enforcing, like, you have to be a resident of St. Joe's, you have to have registered and reserved a dosage because they're running out of dosages, the white people get mad. And it's like, you don't have a reservation, you don't live in this parish. Like, rules are rules, but rules don't matter to you, or rules don't apply to you? Absolutely not. And I thought it was interesting how they decided to have a conversation where they actually bring up, one of the white people literally says, one of these Karens literally says, this is reverse racism. Girl, if you don't go sit your ass down, I can't. Like, you don't have a reservation, you don't live here, we only have a certain number of dosages. Won't you take your behind back to wherever you are from and have them help you? It's the entitlement, the privilege, and the complete disrespect for the people who put together this amazing event. For me, one, Queen Sugar doesn't shy away from having very, very tough conversations, but I thought it was masterful in how they actually pulled all of these conversations together. Because also at this vaccine drive, we see the police have a very agitated interaction with Prosper, which ultimately causes him to fall. So we get the police brutality beat, we get the Karen beat, we got Confederates running up and down through this line, and disgruntled other disgruntled white people, and all of these conversations are happening at once. And we see Nova and the family trying to balance and navigate and be as fair and honest and as helpful as possible, as humble as possible. But it's a situation that is getting heightened by the minute, and it's honestly very stressful. So I would completely understand if anyone at any point snapped or was pushed over the edge, because this is a lot. And I thought that it was really cool how they put it all in one scene, because it shows like an incubator of like, what is America right now, and what are some of the things that are prevalent and happening day in and day out. And honestly, it was a great display of, y'all, this is not okay. If you think that this is okay, it's not. And in all honesty, I feel like even from the perspective of the white persons in the scene or in this particular setup around this part of the story, they definitely still approached it from humanizing them. They tried to give them points of view in reference to where they were pulling their specific hate or disregard or dismissiveness or disrespect from. But at the end of the day, y'all still wrong, and we don't care. Another beat that I cannot end this video without speaking about is we get a moment. It's a very subtle and nuanced moment where Hollywood is going through some of his mom's old stuff, and we get to see him processing his grief from losing his mom last season. And this is just one of the many examples of why Queen Sugar is one of the best television shows on right now or in history, and how amazing they are for the nuance and detailed and gripping stories that they tell. Like, they gave space for this black man to be able to have his feelings, feel his feelings for the loss of his mom, and we get to see it in all of its beauty, glory, and grief. Ah, so beautifully done. Shout out to Omar Dorsey for playing Hollywood in such a magnificent, deep, authentic way. I truly love to see it. All right, y'all, that is my breakdown from episode 1 from season 6 of Queen Sugar. I am just so happy that this show is back on the air. I'm excited for these new episodes. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because I will be breaking down Queen Sugar along with quite a few other amazing television shows every week, and you don't want to miss any videos, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join the tribe. If you missed my Queen Sugar breakdowns from season 5, I have my playlist link for you right here on screen, and you can check it out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!